I just watched the Jamie Foxx Netflix special that came on a couple of days ago, and I have to say that it was pretty good. It is not only entertaining, but it is thought-provoking. It is somewhat emotional. It wasn't your typical stand-up comedy concert. It was more of an introspective look at not only life, but specifically his life and what he just came through. And for those who are not familiar, Jamie Foxx, the Oscar-winning actor, the singer, the comedian, the multi-hyphenate, he recently went through a devastating medical situation. And there was a lot of question marks and cloudiness around what exactly happened. And so during this comedy special, he explained what happened. And I'm not going to give anything away on what transpired and what actually happened to him, but he does get into the details here and basically gives about an hour plus testimony of not only what he went through, but how God brought him through this very traumatic and somewhat public event. And he was very candid. He was very candid about his feelings, not only going through it, because when it first happened, again, nobody really knew what happened, or at least it wasn't released. It was all of a sudden, okay? So it wasn't anything that was building up to something. It happened out of the blue. And I will say that the people around him, including his daughter, she was very protective of her father. But a lot of the people around him, they did a very good job in isolating him from a lot of newsy people and a lot of people who were just, I'm sure, chomping at the bit to get the information and all the deets on what happened. But of course, in the interim, when you don't give up too much, people like to make up their own stuff. So needless to say, the public and a lot of the blogs and vlogs and people just chattering about, everybody had their own take on what happened to him, everything from him being snatched by aliens. This was the perfect time for a lot of conspiracists, to really get to the internet and spread a lot of nonsense. So in addition to the public misconstruing and giving out misinformation, he was sort of going through a metamorphosis as far as it was humiliating as well as very humbling. And in the very end, it ended up saving his life. And these are his words, because he was living a certain way and he was thinking, he had gotten so big. And here he is, Jamie Foxx. I got this, I got that, I got so-and-so, I know so-and-so, I'm able to buy this, I'm able to drive this, I'm able to wear this. So why is this happening to me? He broke it down. He broke it down and he said that he had moments where he was beside himself and he just could not believe that this was happening to him. And he said in the midst of all that, God spoke to him. Every time he said a why, God had a why not. Every time Jamie had a complaint, God had a response. God went tit for tat with him. He matched his same energy, basically, to the point where Jamie basically had to relent and realize that he had gotten so far out, so far gone as far as where he should be with his relationship with God, that God had to get his attention and reel him back in. And that's what this experience did. So in addition to his family taking care of him and making sure he was in the right hands, those right hands, meaning the doctor, the nurses, and everybody that helped with his healing, God put these people in place in his life to get him back on track. He had the best of the best and the very thing that he needed from each and every person, from the talented hands of the doctor and the kick in the butt that he needed from his nurses and his physical therapists. All of these things came together for him to finally get to a point that not only was he able to be better, but also get back to where he was. Because a lot of people, being that he went through what he went through, they thought that it was going to have some residual effects as far as walking and being able to do certain things. And as you will see in the special, the Netflix special, he's able to do that and then some. So God totally restored him. And in that, he had a renewing of his mind and a renewed interest in making sure that his walk with God will be a lot closer. Because he even said himself that, okay, God, if you get me to this point, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be in the church. I'm going to be attending church, and I'm going to be doing this and that and yada, yada, yada. So I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was very candid, very honest. And he told on himself. He told on himself and said, I wasn't doing what I should have been doing. And God loved me that much that he wanted to get my attention. And he, knowing me and who I am, this is how he was going to get my attention. And in getting my attention, not only was I going to get my life back, but I was going to get my spiritual life back and back on track. So it was a good testimony and a testament to that no matter how big you think you are, no matter the things. Remember, we talk about the things and how the things don't matter, the cars and this and that. You can only drive so many cars, and the money and the fame, the women, the men, whatever. All that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you don't have a relationship with God, then what do you have? What do you really have? You know what I mean? So it took this traumatic event for him to be reminded of that, and that none of that will save you. All the money in the world, no matter how big you think you are, anybody and everybody can be touched. Just because your name is this and that and so forth and so on, that does not protect you from all of the ills and all of the things and slings and arrows that you can basically experience in life. No matter how big you think you are never too big to get away from God. You're never too big, so far gone from God that he can't get at you. And sometimes, because we forget who God is and who he is in our life, sometimes he has to grab us by the collar and really shake us up and get our attention. And like Jamie said, he loved him so much that that's exactly what he did. So it was refreshing to see, again, someone speak like that didn't really have to say too much. He could have said, this happened and now I'm better and let's just joke and play and talk about something else. But he didn't. He really broke down. I mean, and literally, he had some moments where he was just overcome. He just kept saying, I'm so grateful to be here, because it didn't have to end this way. It didn't have to be this way. And he incorporated his family. He had both of his daughters on there. Again, I'm not going to do too much. I'm not going to say too much. But it was beautiful. It was a family affair, basically. And he, in his own way, addressed a lot of the rumors, including the whole clone thing. And people thought he was being cloned. I mean, a bunch of silliness. I mean, really was out of control. But he laughed about it and took it with a grain of salt. So he had his testimony and sprinkled it and did it in his own way as far as adding the funny. It was pretty well balanced. It was very well received. A lot of people, including, of course, us viewers, but a lot of people in the audience were so glad that he made it. You know what I mean? That he was there to perform and they could really see him and, put eyes on him. That, even sporadically there were shouts of, we love you, Jamie, we love you. He would respond back. He did a little tickling of the ivories, because, he can play. He's a musician. I mean, he brought out everything, just in case you forgot who he was, he that's what he did. He wanted to remind you that there's only one, and that's me. There is no clone. It's only me. It was just, again, refreshing to see someone talk about God in that manner. Someone who's a quote unquote notable, a celebrity. Not that we're looking at celebrities to lead the charge or be the beacon, or we're not taking cues from celebrities as far as how we should be acting and acknowledging God. We're not doing that. A lot of us, we look at celebrities and say, oh, they're special. They're not like us. But yes, they are like us. They can get sick. They can lose their money. They get their hearts broken. They get cheated on. They are not so far removed. They are like us. They're just people. And just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you don't need God. In fact, I would say the more that you have and the more that you have gained, the more you do need God. I mean, we all need him, but it's so easily to get influenced by all the things and all the thises and the that's that, yeah, you would need to be more grounded in God so that you do not lose yourself. Having a relationship with God is for the big and the small, and according to God, nobody is small. in his eyes. But it's very interesting that a lot of people, there's been a shift. A lot of people who have grown up in the church and have made it big, they seem to be coming back, and a lot of those, who may have never even stepped foot in the church or haven't believed prior to, a lot of them are discovering for the first time the love and the power of God and how he can really change your life if you let him in. It's been a shift. Different people coming back to the fold. And not only coming back, but being vocal about it. Not hiding it, not being ashamed of it, not trying to, whatever. But, being more vocal about it. And so it's good to see. As the much quoted Cat Williams said, there's either God's side or the other side, and a lot of people are choosing God's side. Again, it was really good to see Jamie just giving up praise for God. He had a little stint of praise and worship, a little segment, at some point, and a call and response with the audience. It was cool. Now I will say that he's still a work in progress, like we all are, so Jamie being Jamie, he still had some colorful words. He was dropping a little bombs here and there, just a little bit cursing, just a little cussing up in there. But his eyes have been open and the seed has been replanted, if you will. And he has decided that he was going to renew his faith in God and start living a different way. So I just wanted to come in here really quickly. In this day and age, it's really good when you come across an event, a show, a program where it just seems sincere. So yeah, this Netflix special, Jamie Foxx's Netflix special, is basically proof that God is the God of a second chance. Yes, he is. He's good all the time, and he is the God of a second chance. Second, third, fourth, and fifth, yes. But he is a God of a second chance. And Jamie now knows it firsthand. And with that, we are going to put a button on it.